Some Manchester United fans can't believe that Wayne Rooney was the last really serious footballer to play for the Red Devils. On one side was a gifted prodigy who was one of the best talents of the world, but on the other side was a mad lad who fought with the opposition, his teammates, and even himself. Man, how do you pick a fight with yourself? Rooney's passion sometimes led to chaos, but what happened to the players who dared to fight Rooney? Let's find out. Former Everton and Real Madrid midfielder Thomas Gravesen was often referred to as the Mad Dog because of his wild antics throughout his playing career. However, he met his match when he came up against a 16-year-old Rooney. Gravesen joined Everton after Euro 2000 and would go on to spend 5 years with the Toffees. Rooney, on the other hand, was promoted from the academy as a 16-year-old in 2002. Their former manager, David Moyes, in an interview with Open Goal Sport,
Paddy says he shot fireworks at a physio one day. Were you aware of that?
No, they were in the gym, and it was the old gym at Belfield, and it was an old, no, not the way it is now, but it was big. It was maybe at that time about 60 yards long, and I think it was him and Wayne. They were holding the fireworks at one end of the gym to each other, and they were shooting the fireworks. And actually, we had a guy who used to come in Liverpool, as you can imagine, would sell his engine, and they had big rockets, big, kind of about that thick and that long, full of gunpowder. And they were holding one end and shooting them at each other through the roof.
What was your reaction?
I'm the manager. I'm supposed to be the one who's saying,
"You're joining
Stop that, will you? Behave yourself. You'd already done it."
Brilliant.
explained that both players were in the gym at Belfield, which is Everton's old training ground. The place was basically an old gym and was around 60 yards long at the time. Moyes recalled trying to stop both players from shooting fireworks at each other with big rockets full of gunpowder in a chaotic moment. Even as a teenager, Rooney refused to back down from anyone, and it's pretty safe to say that he earned the respect of the older players that day. Rooney and Gravesen would end up playing together 62 times for David Moyes' Toffees before Rooney's world record transfer to United. But we were in for a shocker when Rooney had a bust-up with Robert Pires in 2005. When the Gunners faced United in 2005, we saw a moment where Rooney was caught arguing with Pires after a foul on the latter. The footage reveals Rooney shouting at Pires to get up after being fouled before then stroking his own cheek as if to make fun of Pires. At first, it seemed like Rooney was throwing banters at Pires' beard, but he later clarified that he was actually asking where Pires got his makeup. With not much clarity at the time, there was some tension and sledging between both fan bases, and the ref himself was also in the thick of the action as he initially brought out a yellow card before quickly retracting it upon the arrival of Roy Keane. However, perhaps one of the most well-known controversial moments of Rooney's career was his fight with teammate Cristiano Ronaldo at the 2006 World Cup. England faced Portugal in the quarter-final. With the game evenly poised at 0-0, Rooney was sent off for a stamp on Portugal defender Carvalho. Ronaldo, on his part, was earlier seen trying to get Rooney punished and even made his feelings clear to referee Horacio Elizondo, as if to say that Rooney deserved the red card. Pissed off at how far his teammate at United could go, Rooney pushed Ronaldo and was then shown the red card. We then saw Ronaldo wink towards the Portuguese bench, letting them know that the job was done. As you would expect, the English fans didn't take the situation lightly. But during the preseason after the tournament, the manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, reached out to both players and made sure they shook hands and put everything that happened behind them. Full credit to Rooney and CR7 because their partnership for the next 3 seasons was insane, and definitely something no one saw coming. Still, it doesn't change the fact that young Wayne Rooney was a lot to handle even on the good days. A few years ago, Gary Neville revealed that Wazza was so unpredictable that he needed to be literally man-marked by a security guard just to keep him out of trouble, especially on nights out. But even that wasn't enough. Neville revealed that on one occasion, Rooney managed to get into a clash with 2 security guards around the corner. According to Neville, Rooney was stopped at the top of the stairs, and the security guard there was meant to hand him over to the security guard down the stairs. Rooney somehow managed to get into a fight in the middle of the stairs between both security guards. Crazy, isn't it? Neville always felt that Rooney was a target for rival fans because he could easily be wound up as a young chap. In a way, you could argue that Rooney's feisty side enhanced his abilities on the pitch. However, his infamous drop ball incident against Hull City in 2008 is something that will continue to be talked about for a while. With Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United leading 4-1, Hull City managed to pull 2 goals in an incredible fashion late on, and we had a grandstand finish on our hands. Rooney at this point was already frustrated, and tensions boiled over after he fluffed his lines and missed an opportunity to put the game to bed. So what did he do? Rooney lashed out at 2 unfortunate Hull City players. First, he kicked Boateng on the shin, and then took out Andy Dawson in a terrible tackle. But the funniest part was seeing the Englishman complain like he had been wronged after getting carded for his actions. Boateng ended up limping off in pain. Poor Boateng, he should have known better because this version of Rooney was also fighting with his teammates. Former Red Devil Patrice Evra recently revealed that the teammate he fought with the most was Rooney. The one thing Evra loved about Rooney was that he was not a sneaky guy. He would tell you what was on his mind face to face, without mincing his words. After swearing and cursing at the training ground, both players hug each other and make jokes about the situation. According to Evra, it was all love and respect when they shared the dressing room at Old Trafford between 2006 and 2014. But how do you explain picking a fight with yourself? Back in the day, Rooney wasn't afraid to insult celebrities or famous people if they crossed the line. One time, he told Piers Morgan to shut up before calling him an egg. But back in 2011, Rooney tagged himself in this tweet right here. "I'll put you asleep within 10 seconds, you little girl. Don't say stuff and not follow up on it. I'll be waiting." Who says those kinds of words to themselves? You might be thinking. But for context, Rooney's aggressive nature carried over to social media, and he often got into online spats. Once, he was insulted by a Liverpool supporter who threatened to smash his head in with a golf club. Rooney then responded by wishing the guy good luck and saying that he knew where Rooney trained. The Liverpool fan then hit back and said, "I'll be down tomorrow and meet twin turbo Nissan Micra." That was what led to this tweet from Rooney, in which the Englishman mistakenly tagged himself. It doesn't get any funnier than that, but you know what isn't? Squaring up to a guy who is almost an entire foot taller than you. Back in 2015, Rooney slapped 6'7", 246-pound Wade Barrett at the Manchester Arena. But how did we get here? Rooney and Barrett had a bizarre feud after the British wrestler accused Rooney on Twitter of diving to win a penalty in an FA Cup win against Preston North End. So when Barrett, who happens to be a Preston fan, spotted the former striker in the front row with his son Kai at WWE Raw, Barrett thought it was the perfect time to have a go at Rooney. He began goading Rooney and even offered him a fight in the ring before then, adding that he did not want to embarrass the striker in front of his own son. Rooney himself had begun taunting the Irish wrestler Sheamus during his fight with Antonio Cesaro. This prompted Barrett to confront him face-to-face ringside, strictly as part of the stunt. Fans definitely loved that one, but here's the best of the bunch. Rooney has always been a huge boxing fan, but he was knocked out by his friend and former Manchester United teammate Phil Bardsley in 2015. How did it happen? The pair were filmed pulling on gloves for a scrap in the kitchen during a night at Rooney's Cheshire mansion. In the clip, we see Rooney and Bardsley trading light blows for about a minute before Bardsley sent him crashing to the floor with a punch. Rooney lay motionless for a few seconds before later making light of the situation with a goal celebration against Tottenham. To celebrate the strike, Rooney threw a few punches before pretending to get knocked out. But which of these fights is your favorite? And if you were to describe Wayne Rooney in one word, what would it be?